Tonight, Britain, America's closest ally, descending into uncertainty after Prime Minister Boris Johnson's dramatic, defiant Downing Street statement today, blaming his own party for forcing him out.
The herd instinct is powerful. When the herd moves, it moves. How sad I am to be giving up the best job in the world. But them's the breaks.
And there we are, classic Boris Johnson. No apology, simply an explanation for why he fought so hard. As he spoke outside Downing Street, opponents booed. The world-famous Boris brand, unkempt hair and love of political stunts, even when they went wrong.
Boris, you're going the wrong way. This way!
Becoming a fatal liability as Prime Minister. His integrity questioned by a cascade of scandals where he was caught lying, including at first denying, then acknowledging he attended parties during COVID lockdowns. But his global impact undeniable, controversially leading Britain into Brexit and, through a pandemic, even hospitalized himself, then allying himself with President Biden to support Ukraine's President Zelensky, traveling twice to Kyiv.
Thank you to your incredible resistance.
Zelensky expressing sadness at Boris Johnson's departure today. Tonight, Johnson says he'll stay in office until a replacement is found, but that could take months. Uncertainty at such an unstable time for Europe.
In battleground states across the country, GOP activists, Republican Party chairs, and even a state Senate president.
I am the Senate president of Arizona, and it is our job to make sure we have fair and accurate elections.
Are getting hit with subpoenas. As early as this week, some Republicans tied to the plan to put forward fake electors for Donald Trump are set to turn over information to federal investigators, sources tell CNN.
If they have something they think is a crime, they'll bring an indictment, and that's when you'll find out what they're doing.
The Justice Department's investigation into January 6th began with the violence that erupted at the U.S. Capitol and charges against more than 800 alleged rioters, including the leaders of the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers. But in recent months, it's expanded to cover the fake elector scheme in 7 battleground states, with subpoenas to prominent Republicans like Arizona Senate President Karen Fann, Georgia Republican Party Chairman David Schaefer, and Arizona Republican Party Chair Kelly Ward.
Do not let this election be stolen.
The probe also inching closer to Trump as investigators raided Jeffrey Clark's home, the former DOJ official who pushed Donald Trump's voter fraud claims.
They even brought along something, Tucker, I've never seen before or heard of, a electronic sniffing dog. And they took all of the electronics from my house.
And also seized electronics from former Trump election attorney John Eastman, who peddled baseless fraud claims and pushed a legal theory that Vice President Pence could block the 2020 election certification.
All we are demanding of Vice President Pence is this afternoon at 1 o'clock, he let the legislatures of the state look into this.
Beyond the DOJ probe, a separate criminal investigation into Trump and his allies is escalating in Georgia, where investigators subpoenaed key Trump allies, including Rudy Giuliani and South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham. The district attorney there says more subpoenas may soon be headed to Trump's inner circle.
We're going to do our due diligence.
And a separate congressional investigation unearthing new details, like Trump's eagerness to go to the Capitol January 6th. And the legal risks that went with it.
Mr. Cipollone said something to the effect of, please make sure we don't go up to the Capitol, Cassidy. Keep in touch with me. We're going to get charged with every crime imaginable if we make that movement happen.
Going to the Capitol.
Those revelations increasing Trump's criminal exposure and raising the odds he could face repercussions.
I don't think the court, or for that matter, the Republicans who for decades have pushed the extreme agenda, have a clue about the power of American women. But they're about to find out, in my view. It's my hope and strong belief that women will in fact turn out in record numbers to reclaim the rights that have taken from them by the court. And let me be clear, while I wish it had not come to this, this is the fastest route available. I'm just stating a basic fundamental notion. The fastest way to restore Roe is to pass a national law codifying Roe, which I will sign immediately upon its passage at my desk. Executive order is protecting access to reproductive health care services.
Well, a man who knows Boris Johnson well is his former advisor, Thomas Corbett Dillon. Thomas, thanks so much for joining us tonight. So,
good to be here.
First, the obvious question: why did Boris Johnson resign as prime minister? I don't fully understand this. Is there a specific reason?
It's chaos, Tucker. It really is. You know, the short of the story is that we elected Boris to be the British Trump. You know, he was going to shake up the system. He was going to deliver Brexit. He was going to stick it to the elites. But he very quickly got sucked in by the sort of globalist agenda. You know, he spent a lot of time sucking up to Macron and Merkel, that he forgot he's a conservative. You know, as you said, he went very hard on lockdown, very hard on vaccines. He became woke, and then he, you know, fully signed up to this Greta Thunberg idea of the world is ending, which is not what the Conservative people voted for. You know, Boris was elected by a very large group of working-class voters that it was the first time they'd ever voted for a Conservative politician. And these people want simple things: more jobs, lower tax, tough on crime, tough on the border, and tough on our enemies. But he got sucked into this globalist agenda that just wasn't what the people wanted. So eventually the MPs started listening to the people on the ground and realized that this was not the leader for them anymore.
He so humiliated himself, and without offense to you, your country, I think, that you almost felt like there was something else going on here. Why would he have been sucked into the most conventional, dumb kind of lifestyle liberalism when he's obviously a very smart guy?
Yeah, he sort of, you know, fell in with that elite crowd, and he was, you know, traveling the world. He did a lot of time trying to save Ukraine and all of these things. What seems to happen is the government just lost their way. They didn't know what they were trying to do. They didn't know what the policies were. They tried to, you know, do this global Britain thing, but, you know, we have huge issues in the UK, as America has too, and very similar things with, you know, fuel crisis and inflation and all these things. That is what the people want, and that's not what he was delivering anymore. So it's a shame because he had a lot of potential. We were very excited when he, you know, he had everything. He even had the hair like Trump, but it just didn't come through in the end.
So sad. The whole thing is so, and also weird. I hope you get someone better. It doesn't sound like you're gonna. But Thomas, I appreciate your coming on tonight with that analysis. Thanks so much.
Cheers. Thank you.
Subscribe to the Fox News YouTube channel to catch our nightly opens, stories that are changing the world and changing your life. From Tucker Carlson tonight.
Let's bring in Tommy Lahren, Outkick host, joins us now. Tommy, what do you make of this executive order? Governor Abbott says he's forced to do things like this because President Biden isn't doing his job.
Well, that's exactly right. If the Biden administration isn't going to do their job to secure our border, then it's going to be up to governors like Abbott to do something. We know that Abbott has taken a strong leadership role in this, as of other governors like Ron DeSantis, and that's what it's going to take. But listen, there is no excuse for what is going on at our southern border. Absolutely no excuse, and we haven't heard the Biden administration even try to give us one. But the fact of the matter is, not only is what's going on at our border, not only is it cheating Americans who are being inundated by illegal immigrants migrants into their communities, not just on the border, but elsewhere. It's slighting the very migrants that are coming over who will never live the American dream because of the way that they entered illegally. But also, as Governor Abbott said, this is not only emboldening, but enriching the criminal organizations, the coyotes, the drug cartels that are not only ravaging their home countries, but are ravaging ours with the opioid epidemic, the fentanyl coming across into our country, deadly in our streets. There is no excuse for it, and even worse, as I said, the Biden administration, our borders are Kamala, they haven't even tried to offer us one. They've remained silent on this issue. Unacceptable. They need to be pressed on this on a daily basis.
Did Abbott go far enough?
I think he's doing everything that he possibly can. Listen, I think that the people of Texas are even leaning on him more so for leadership because they know that they're not going to get any leadership out of this White House. But it's also up to Congress to be vocal about this as well. This is a national security issue, and our governors shouldn't be left to have to deal with this. But unfortunately, that's the situation that they're dealing with. And I hope that more governors stand up next to Abbott and with his same resolve and have similar solutions to his. Someone has to do something because this is not sustainable.
You know, Tommy, I would understand President Biden's border policies if it were working for him politically, but you have this historically blue congressional seat in Texas flip red largely because of the open border issue, and yet the president still isn't reversing course.
Yeah, that's because Democrats play the long game here. They're okay with losing a few seats here and there. They're okay with the narrative around the country being unhappy with the border crisis, the invasion, which is what it truly is. They're okay with that because they're interested in the long game, and the long game means more voters for them, or so they think. So they're going to remain quiet on this. The numbers don't lie. We're having hundreds of thousands of people come into our country, and those are the ones that have been apprehended. That does not include the gotaways. So there's no other excuse for it. There's no other rationale for it other than the Democrats see new voters coming in, and that's why they're allowing this to continue to happen.
Make sure to check out Tomi Lahren's Fearless, airing live on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays on Outkick. And it needs to be pointed out that Tommy Tuesday is here on a Friday. I know it's very obvious, but that's what I do. I point out the obvious. Tomi Lahren, we appreciate your time as always. Thank you, my friend.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.